How's it going, guys? This is Mark with At Tech, and I went a whole week without using a single Apple product. It was actually a pretty interesting experience, so let me talk you through everything I did and how it turned out. So first of all, what equipment did I use and what did I bring? So I went to Mexico for a week, and while it was mainly vacation, I still did take computers, phones, and smartwatches when I had extra time to do some other stuff. So my computer of choice that I brought was the Dell XPS 13. This is the 2018 model, and it is the highest end model they have of the 13-inch one. It has 256 gigabytes of solid state storage. It's pretty fast, and this is probably one of the best laptop experiences of Windows I've ever had. For the smartphone, I have the Pixel 3 XL. This is somewhat old, but I got a really great deal on it. I've had it for a couple of months now, and I really love it. This is by far the best experience of Android I've ever had, mainly because of the stock operating system. And for my smartwatch, I'm using the Moto 360 clone. This is actually a fitness tracker we reviewed a couple weeks ago, so check that video out where we take a look at this, but it's actually pretty cool. So I use all these three items together every single day, and here's my experience using Windows and Android, going away from all of Apple's operating systems and products. So first of all, the biggest issue people have when switching over from Apple products is iMessage. Now, I still did use iMessage using AirMessage, which we made a video on as well, so check that video out, where I was able to text from the Android phone using iMessage. Now, this is kind of cheating, but I'll tell you why I'm okay with it. So I didn't take my original SIM card out of my iPhone. I have a separate SIM card for this phone. And I didn't want to take my SIM card out of my iPhone to use this since I already had one in it. And I didn't want to deal with the process of deregistering with Apple on my phone number. So I left everything how it was. And I used iMessage just because I didn't swap over the SIM card. If I would have swapped over the SIM card, I would have actually been fine using standard SMS. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So yes, I did use iMessage, but I would have been fine not using it. First of all, the watch, the operating system is pretty bad. Not a lot to it. Notifications are okay, they work, they come through, but that's pretty much it. That's the only reason I really use the watch, was to tell time and to get notifications. Speaking of time, it had a problem. Both the watch and the phone were not picking up the local time. I turn on the iPhone and it gets the local time right away. This took about an hour for it to figure out the local time zone, kind of weird. But once it did do that, it worked fine. The Android operating system I've been using for a little while now, so I am fairly used to it. It's not completely foreign to me, as is Windows. I've been using both for a little while, so I have experience in them. So it wasn't completely brand new to me. But I have to say, I kind of like Android. There is a lot of cool things you can do with it, and I like the look and feel of some of Google's own apps. As for other apps, they're pretty bad. I have to say that we're pretty spoiled with Apple and iOS. They have some of the best apps out there, and even the apps that have both versions are actually looking and working better on iPhone, even Google's apps, which is kind of surprising. And that was kind of the biggest thing for me, was apps. Not really many apps you can get on Windows. There's not much of a store. There are apps on Google Play, but they're not nearly as good. And finding an app that works on both the Windows and Android is extremely hard. That was the biggest thing I actually missed, was cross-compatibility between devices, and not just Apple's own ecosystem, but just the fact that you can make a to-do on your phone and you can view it on your computer. Your reminders sync between each other. I use an app called Things for my to-dos and reminders that's not by Apple, but it works on both iPhone and Mac. They sync between each other. That's very cool. I like apps better than websites, so I use the Google To-Do app on Android. I have to go to the website on the computer. I can't get an app for it. I wish there was an app, but that's just the biggest thing. There's not a lot of apps, there's not a lot of good apps, and there's even less of apps that work between devices. Do something on here, pick up on here, switch between them, none of that sort of thing. But here's the good things, the things I did like. I like the hardware. The keyboard on here is really awesome. This is a very small package with a 13-inch screen. I love the pixel feel and look to it. It's very cool. The operating system is actually quite nice. I haven't used Android since the Galaxy S7 and it has changed a lot since, so that's very nice. I didn't miss a ton from the Apple Watch. I missed the weather app, but that's about it. Notifications are a little bit richer and better on the Apple Watch, but I got those on here as well. So it's really not a huge issue for the Apple Watch. And I didn't miss iMessage all that much. I like the ability to be able to view your SMS on the computer using, of course, a website. With the Google Messaging app, you can actually view it on a web browser, which is pretty cool. And I think the biggest thing for me is that if I had a Windows computer and I didn't have a Mac, I wouldn't really want to have to come back to my iPhone. If I only had Windows, I'd be fine with an Android. But because I have an iPhone and I have a Mac, just those features that sync between them is kind of what keeps me there. Yes, it is partly the Apple ecosystem, which is very nice, but also Apple's ecosystem of partners. They got some of the best apps around, and that is really what's keeping me on Apple's side. But nonetheless, I still love and enjoy using these devices here. It made me realize what I'm missing out and also what the other side has. But anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like this video, leave a like and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. This is Mark with Hat Tech, and I will see you in the next one.